here on Media Row. And, every once in a while you get the opportunity to chat with a Super Bowl champion. Very rare, obviously, with Super Bowl 60 in front of us, that you get a Super Bowl MVP sitting down with you. John Riggins hanging out here with us, Danny, Adam, and it's so great to have you here. And what's it like being back on the scene?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's changed a little bit since Super Bowl 17. I might say that I think I helped create Radio Row because I was one of the first players to ever do an interview. I'd set out in 1980, so, I wasn't doing interviews back in 82 when we went to that. So it was 1983. And I remember having, the press was out there, and there was 30, 40 people out there. And it was all coming my way. I went, I can do this all day, guys.
You said, guys, why don't you all sit down? You can each grab a table.
Yeah. And they did. Yeah, we had fun.
Right.
We had fun.
I mean, this scene is incredible, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you what, of course, I get that into my head every once in a while. I'm amazed now by technology and architecture. I mean, the building that we're in, I don't know when it stops or where it begins. I think it probably goes halfway down to Santa Barbara, or not Santa Barbara. Well, it could be Santa Barbara, actually. But yeah, it's changed so much. But like anything else, nothing stays the same. So, and I think it's changed for the better.
You've got a ring on. It's a wedding ring.
Yes, it is.
But most people like yourself, you'd be walking around wearing a Super Bowl ring.
Well, years ago, maybe if I'd have been single, it would have been a chick magnet. But I got a very high octane wife, so I don't need a chick magnet no more. So then I'm thinking, it ain't my style really, because basically if you wear one of those rings, because they're so gaudy and ostentatious, that that ring, what ring is that? So it's like you're inviting.
Piece.
It is,
everybody has to try it on.
I'm not a conversationalist every time I go out. So it's like, and now a good friend of mine, and he's passed away now, but I remember, and he had he was on the same team that I was when we won the Super Bowl. I looked at his ring and I couldn't recognize it. The writing, he'd worn it for 40 years, never taken it off his finger.
No kidding.
And it was just it almost looked like a wedding band. There was the diamond was still there, but that's about all you could recognize. Yeah, it's true. So,
man, I mean, speaking of that Super Bowl win and you getting the MVP, just obviously a remarkable effort in that game. And at what point in that game did you feel like this was going to be one of your better performances? I mean, I'm sure as an athlete, mentally you go into that with that expectation, but at what point were you just feeling that everything was clicking at the biggest stage?
I didn't, and I never played a game that way, really. I went out, it was like play to play, one play, moment to moment. I didn't ever get too far ahead of myself because I did realize at the very end, with about maybe a minute and 30 to go or what, and we had the ball. I was on the bench because the game literally was over. Now it's just a matter of running out the clock. But I never got that far ahead of anything, and I never really, it was just, to me, it was one play after another. But when the ball was in play, I had an assignment, and I had to focus on doing that. So I can't really say that I was like, oh, yeah, this is going to be big. I'm going to be the MVP. What? They didn't give me the MVP? No, that's what Theismann said. No, I'm teasing. Joe's a great guy. Although he did make a huge play in that, but like I told him, I said, you can't turn a bad play into a good play, or you can't turn, in other words, when he knocks that ball down and Bo Camper's about ready to catch it and run in for a touchdown, that was a huge play that he made. But he also instigated it. It's almost like he set himself up. It's not the way it's supposed to be.
Is this the game worn?
Yeah, that's it.
Jersey right here?
Yeah, Super Bowl 17.
This thing's been through the ringer.
Well, because it's never been washed. That's why you see all the grass stains on it. Like I tell people, I guess if you get the forensic people in here, you can get some of my DNA. I don't.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So tell me, why do we have this here with us? What are the?
Well, I've got a few items that I'm going to auction off. Hunt Auctions at huntauctions.com is where you can go to take a look and see if there's anything. But there's all kinds of stuff there. I was just telling somebody Hunt Auctions has the saddle that Secretariat wore when he won the Belmont Stakes. Wow. And it was Jim Irsay, the late owner of the Indian, and it was in his collection. So, yeah, they've got some really great things to look at there. And it's my way of giving back to the fans in the sense that there's nothing that'll ever replace what they gave me. Nothing. And these type of things are great, and I'm very proud of them. But at the same time, the acclamation that I got from the fans helped make me who I am. So it's like that's what was really important. And I also consider when you in performing, in particular in sports, because you can go see a film and go, oh my God, that was a great acting performance. I love this guy. But you get really a fan and you're really into a team.
Sure.
And your team wins, because I mean, it still goes on in DC today. This is over 40 years ago, that Super Bowl 17. You have created a memory in these folks' mind that they'll take to the grave with. And to me, that's a pretty high calling, actually. You know, when you can create memories for people that they'll treasure for the rest of their lives.
What's coming with you, though? You know what I mean? Like, what do you need to be buried in terms of the things that you know that you accomplished? Like the ring. Is the ring getting passed down to the family? Is the ring going with you till the bitter end? Versus the things that you are willing to let go.
I got to tell people I'm not selling the farm. I'm selling the lower 40. So
Okay.
there's a little wiggle room in there. But listen, as far as what I'm going to be buried in, my dream death is to be in Alaska.
Beautiful spot.
And drop dead in the middle of nowhere and be eaten by grizzly bears. I would go, because I'm an outdoor guy. I like
to
to
get back to nature. Right?
There you go. I like to camp and do all that stuff. And as you guys know, if you're campers, there's rule number 1 is leave no trace.
That's right.
So if a grizzly bear eats me, that DNA is going to be real tough to find, I think. Although Timmy Treadwell would probably say, not so fast. Because he obviously was eaten by a grizzly bear.
John, well, being the running back and fullback that you were back in the day, I mean, obviously the rules have changed a lot since then. And, you know, there's a lot of criticism revolving around that. And then just the style of play in general. How do you think you would fare in this day and age in the NFL, given all the changes on the offensive and defensive side? And then in general, I guess, you know, is there anybody you look at and watch and go, you know, that's my type of runner right there. That's a guy I can resonate with.
Well, obviously, you know, the last one I can think of is, the big guy in Baltimore. That guy, he'll raise the hair on the back of your neck if you're a linebacker, I think. But no, if I were playing today, I'd be a quarterback. I wouldn't mess with being a running back. And I was a kid. My dad wanted me to play quarterback. Actually, I went, nah. All the glory's being a running back. And of course, you know, once again, we get back to chick magnets, and it always goes back there somehow. Right. But the league's done a great job of really, and I don't know, sanitizing the game from the standpoint that it's still a rough and tumble game. It was really, and then I look back on it, I think back to the guys that played 30 years before me in the early 40s, the 30s and all that stuff, no face masks. I mean, that was a rough and tumble game, and ours was rough and tumble, and it's still rough and tumble, but they've kind of taken a lot, and intelligently so, taken some of the violence out where the guy isn't looking and, you know, he gets, you know, bushwhacked when he's going over the middle, that type of stuff. And so, you know, on the one hand, and then the league has done this, you know, it's all about your quarterback for the most part. And if you, and your defense, and the running game is really, if I'm not mistaken, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, I think we're going from the bottom of the food chain up in the NFL hierarchy of monetary rewards. I don't know whether it's the punter, the kicker, the running back. It used to be quarterback, running back, right, wide receiver, but it's inverse right now. So, yeah, I would like Willie Sutton. I would go where the money was.
I just heard a guy walking around behind us. Hey, it's a Redskins jersey. You don't hear that anymore, obviously, with the Commanders jerseys. I mean, what is it still weird to you a little bit?
Oh, yeah. Commanders doesn't work for me. It never did. And when I see, you know, if you go on Wikipedia, I'm pretty sure it'll say John Riggins, Washington Commanders. And I'm going, I'm almost to the point where I got to go, just say I played for Washington. You don't have to put Redskins. I don't have a problem with it, but I never played for the Commanders.
Sure.
And the people that created that name, as you well know, for 20 years, there was a blight in Washington. So I'm not a big fan of it. But at the same time, you know, I don't run the team anymore. It's new ownership, great deal there. And there's a real good feeling in D.C. about the burgundy and gold. Here you go.
Yeah, what do you got? Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
beautiful.
That looks good.
There you go.
That's nice.
Like there we go.
Yeah, I figured you guys would like that.
That's a custom right there. You got to be feeling pretty good about, you know, the Washington football team, which I guess is another former name, as it exists right now with Jaden Daniels and the future of that franchise.
I think so. I like the coach. I think Dan Quinn is a good coach. I think that Peters is a good GM. and obviously number 5. That they just got to keep him healthy, add a few pieces here and there, and you have to look at his rookie year was unbelievable. But I will say it's probably unprecedented in history of the NFL anyway, where you win 6 games on the last play of the game. It's like I've never seen it. So you got to figure that everything went your way. This year it was going the other way, and it kind of averages out. But what they did that year, which I was a little surprised this year, but then again he got bumped around a little bit and had some, missed some games, and they kind of got out of sync a little bit, I think. But I'm thinking this offseason he's going to bounce back, and the team will bounce back, and they play in a division that's very possible. Philadelphia looks like they're starting to get a few creaks in them, and you got Dallas and the Giants. What's not to like?
Do you have a Super Bowl prediction for this matchup, Patriots-Seahawks?
I will say, I think the Seahawks. I just lean toward the Seahawks, although I guess you're a fool to bet against the Patriots. I don't know. But I like – and part of it is because Sam Darnold. I mean, this guy was, traveling salesman his first 5 years in the league, for crying out loud. And now he's gotten to a place where he's getting to play in the Super Bowl. I think that's fantastic. And the kid from New England, he'll probably be here another time or two. Yeah, because I think Mike Vrabel's a heck of a coach too.
Before we let you go, the thing I keep looking over at this jersey. I'm like distracted by our conversation because I'm looking at the jersey. Because one, I love memorabilia and collectibles and history, and obviously, most things you're going to come across now don't have the blood, sweat, tears, dirt, all the things of a Super Bowl championship on it. But I just look purely at the jersey, right? The material of the jersey, nothing stitched on, nothing like it's the mesh, like what it was back then.
Yeah.
Like club youth sports jerseys now are manufactured with more detail today than what these were back in the day. It's incredible how it's changed.
Well, this jersey, obviously 1983. I came into the league in 1971. Now, when I played for the Jets, those things, they had the bottom of them was almost like a onesie, where there was a flap that stuck down and you buttoned it over your crotch. I love that jersey. I mean, I wish they still, I don't need one anymore, that's for sure. But maybe I could wear it to bed for pajamas.
Right. You never know.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm getting to the point where I need diapers, so it might be just perfect.
Kill 2 birds with 1 stone with it.
We're not going to finish better than that. John Riggins, again, Super Bowl champion, MVP. Thank you so much.
Adam, thank you. Danny, thank you.